My name's Laura Bruno, and I'm an intuitive astrologer. Today I'm going to be talking about Saturn in Pisces. The planet Saturn moves into Pisces on March 7th, 2023, and will remain there until May 24th, 2025, and then come back for a little while, September 1st, 2025 through February 16th, 2026. So we're looking at 2.5 to 3 years of this energy, and it will be a significant change, which is why I'm making this video. It's not intended to be a huge comprehensive video, just wanting to give you kind of an overview, a little bit of what can we expect with Saturn moving from Aquarius into Pisces. So Saturn has been in Aquarius since December of 2020. And we've seen a lot of tension there because we've also been having a Saturn square Uranus transit throughout a lot of that time, which has featured pushing against top-down authority, pushing against digital IDs, a lot of energy with electronics and control. That's been a lot of what's happening with Saturn in Aquarius. Now, when Saturn moves into Pisces, we get a whole different energy, almost a paradoxical energy. So Saturn is a planet that likes structure. Saturn's known as the Lord of Karma, kind of like Santa Claus making a list and checking it twice kind of energy. Very much about top-down authority. Saturn rules Capricorn and co-rules Aquarius. So Saturn in Aquarius, even though it's Aquarius and Saturn kind of push against each other a little bit, it's still more familiar energy for Saturn than Saturn in Pisces. Unlike this structure, logic, rational energy of Saturn, Pisces energy is expansive, it's spiritual, it makes us think of unconditional compassion, of just sweeping beauty. It's a sign of the mystic, of dreams, of illusions, delusions, fantasy, the ability to conceive of something that's so far beyond our little ego, which is also part of Saturn energy. So again, we get this kind of tension. People who were born in somewhere between 1964 and 1967, depending on retrogrades, but for the most part, most people born between 64 and 67 have Saturn in Pisces. And also people who were born in 1993 through 1996, kind of, again, you have to check your natal chart to know for sure, but the reason I'm mentioning this is if you were born during that time period, then there's a high likelihood that you'll be having your Saturn return when Saturn's in Pisces. And so that just makes everything that I'm saying that much more relevant to you. So Saturn is a planet of maturity, and with Pisces being a sign of spirituality, of mysticism, it's a wonderful time for developing a spiritual practice, spiritual discipline, being able to bring your dreams into reality. There are many opportunities that will be presenting in the next few years of having either old structures just kind of erode. So the Aquarian way of getting rid of old structures is kind of like bang it out and have a revolution. The Piscean way of making change to old structures is just kind of wearing them away, kind of eroding them. So we can think of themes of erosion moving forward, but we can also think of how do I bring my dreams into reality? Also, things like Dr. Emoto's work, the Japanese scientist who studied the secret life of water. If you're not familiar with that book, highly recommend it. It really shows on a physical, tangible level what happens when we bring intention and compassion into the real world. So you give an affirmation to water, or you say a word to water, and the structure as that molecule freezes is literally different depending on what affirmations you give. So Saturn in Pisces gives us an opportunity to be structuring water. Now that could be as simple as adding a little bit of Himalayan sea salt to your own drinking water, or a little bit of Celtic sea salt, which just structures the whole water. Makes it more absorbable by the body, more recognizable. But if you consider that we are mostly water, and that so much life on Earth is composed of water, the idea of structuring water goes further. It goes into ideas of structuring our entire reality. So this could be a really positive opportunity of melding spirituality and logic, of taking our intuition and bringing that together in harmony with our rational side. Again, kind of a paradoxical energy. People who have Saturn in Pisces are going to feel this kind of inner tug in themselves. A lot of times they're very compassionate people, but can sometimes get discouraged because things just seem so overwhelming. Saturn is kind of like, oh, what is little old me going to do, and what can I do? And Pisces is this expansive, optimistic energy, but it can also be prone to, oh, I put someone on a pedestal and I got disappointed, now they're down here. And so a little bit of an emotional roller coaster potential for the next few years on a societal level, but also a real invitation to grow up spiritually, to take our inner resources, our inner connection that we have with the divine, however you conceive of that, or even beyond your conception. How do we relate to that in the here and now? How do we take extra awareness, extra intuition, and how do we apply that to things like our goals, to our need for security, our need for structures, and how do we do this in a way that is harmonious with all of life? So again, this isn't meant to be the fully comprehensive, everything you need to know about Saturn in Pisces, but it is meant to give a bit of an introduction, because this is a societal shift. We will feel the shift of energies, and there's a number of planets that are changing signs in March and then May of this year. So kind of a fresh energy. And so I would encourage people to, ahead of time, get a journal that you're going to keep as a dream journal during this time. Find a meditation practice that you can put into your daily life. Fewer minutes, more frequently is going to serve you better than just trying to do one big sweeping thing that you're not going to stick with, because Saturn is also the planet of commitment. And so one of the things that we're looking at is, how do I commit to this expansion? How do I commit to spiritual principles that maybe I've read about, things like law of attraction, things like the golden rule? How do I take these and bring them into an everyday life structure and a way of life that makes sense? So I do a lot more in-depth astrology posts on my blog. You can find that at asklaurabruno.com. It's also linked below in the write-up, but feel free to hop over there. Most of the videos that I'm going to be doing are going to be for more of the longer term transits, but I do write a lot about new moons and full moons and kind of give a breakdown of what energies we are going to see in that moon cycle. So check it out. Would love to see you. And in the meantime, happy Saturn in Pisces. Bye.